Hello, happy Sunday, everyone. It is Sunday, also known as Noneday, and I have pretty much nothing going on with this hair of mine. I know I'm not alone out here. Who's here today? Come on in. It's kind of looking like a beautiful day is beginning outside over here. Come on in. If you are here, let me know that you're here. Hello, here we go. Here comes some people. I know Facebook has been weird about getting any kind of notifications out, but we're just rolling with it, folks. We are just rolling with it. So good to see. There's Jenny. Happy Sunday, Jenny. She's saying hello to all of you lovelies. Trisha's here. Yay. I'm so glad. Yeah, we're getting ready for the sprint, guys. We are getting ready to sprint. There's a lot happening. We have a lot happening, actually. And you know what? We're just rolling. We're just rolling with the river. And I'm going to talk today about how important planning is. Yes, it is Palm Sunday. I heard some very interesting things. I'm going to tell you a story. I have a girlfriend. Gosh, I should tell this story because, yeah, it's a good Sunday story. So when we were moving in 1994 to Charlotte, North Carolina, it was through a series of events that it would take too long if it was. So I was asking about a church. I wanted to we were in an Episcopal church, looking for another Episcopal church in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And found out about this one that was recommended and, yada, yada, yada. And so we were still living in a little hotel, waiting for our house to become available. And I was trying to talk my now ex-husband, my husband into going to this particular church. I thought it would be a good place for the kids, yada, yada. Anyway, so, you know how God just engineers things sometimes? So we're at this little store in Charlotte, and it's a children's store. And I'm in there shopping away, looking for an Easter dress for my daughter, because I was darn tootin' determined that she was going to have an Easter dress or a Christmas thing or something. I don't remember, but I think it was an Easter dress. So I'm looking, and my son, in the meantime, is just being terrible. You know how that is when your child decides, well, it's time to be awful. He was just turned 3, and he was going under the rounders, and I'm, Peter, come on in. Peter, come here. And finally, this man who's sitting, in this chair with his wife is obviously shopping. He's sitting in the chair, and he's got a beard, and he just looks over, and he said, Peter, I think she really means it. And I was thinking to myself, what an irritating man. I'm trying to deal with this out-of-control child in this clothing store, doing the best that I can, and he's interfering. And I didn't say anything, and then he's just like, well, Peter, why don't you come on over here and talk to me? Something along those lines. And he was very charming and everything. Afterwards, we started to talk. His wife was behind me in the line buying clothing. Turns out, he was the pastor of this particular church that had been recommended. And so we immediately hit it off. I told him the whole story. And we called it right then and there a divine intervention. And long story short, Fillmore Strunk, who is the pastor of All Saints Anglican Church in I think it's in Weddington, because I haven't been there forever, and his wife, Sandy Strunk, have been my dear friends since the 90s. And yesterday I got a call from her. And she and her husband had gone through COVID-19. Yeah. She said there were a couple of days there when, neither one of them ended up in the hospital, but they're both in their 60s. And they said that it was just really very terrible, very awful. And she said that there were a few days when she wouldn't have cared, had she passed, because she felt that awful. So I'm telling you this story because I think two things. One, God works in mysterious ways. And when you're looking for the evidence of the things that you want in your life, look hard, because I promise you, he's orchestrating things all the time. This is one of the situations where in 1994, I had the opportunity to meet these now I would consider lifelong friends. I mean, this is 20 some years later, right? And number two, I was delighted to get her phone call, and I was scared. I was scared that I was not going to, that when she called, that it was about this virus. And I knew that Fillmore had been sick. I hadn't known what it was. And, I was glad to hear that they are on the other side of recovery. So, can I just tell you this? First of all, look for the evidence of God orchestrating things in your life. I promise you he is, especially when you are assembling positivity into your life. Look for the positives, look for the helpers, look for the things that are good and right in this life. There's a lot of scary stuff out there, but look for the good and look for the right. The second thing is expect miracles. I am delighted that Sandy and Fillmore were both healed of this horrible sickness, and it took weeks and weeks to get through. And it is interesting too, because their whole family had been exposed and they were the only two that got it. So that, thank God for that, right? Including his 93-year-old mother who lives with them. So just prayers for the Strunks, prayers for their parish, their church family. And I'm just, it's Palm Sunday. I'm praising God. I just think it's amazing. It's a miracle. God listens and hears. And our little quote of the week is, the struggle ends when the gratitude begins. Sorry, I've got it backwards again. Our struggle ends when the gratitude begins. And I am just so grateful for God's hand on these two people who have greatly influenced so many people. So many people have been influenced by these lovely, wonderful, real people who happen to pastor a church in Charlotte. And I've known them for years, and it's such an incredible blessing. So stay home, okay? Stay home. Let's cook together. Let's plan together. Let's do things that are constructive in this time. Now, I want to talk to you, first of all, I'm going to be talking about what a plan is. I've got an acronym and everything for you, so I hope you're taking notes. I'm really excited about this. Actually, it kind of came to me, in the shower this morning. And no, I didn't cut my hair, believe it or not. This is just straight on blowout, and you can see, there's a lot of gray up there. We're just going to do this so nobody can see. But, it's clean, I'm clean. I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful that we're getting ready to jump onto the sprint. I have not been myself, and I've been beating myself up, and I know you've probably been doing the same and thinking, what happened here? Why are you falling into these old habits? And I think right now is the time to give ourselves a whole heck of a lot of grace and a lot of latitude. You're not doing it perfectly, and either am I. But let's just look at one thing, okay? Let's look at one thing. We have a framework to hang all this stuff on. We have the ability to stop at any point and kind of pivot and change, don't we? Thank God for that. Thank God. But I'm just going to say to you right now that regardless of where you are and where you want to go and what you want to do, at any time you can pick it up and say, this is the direction I want to go. Okay? And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And everything that I'm going to say with the grace and latitude for you to adjust it from the place that you're in, from the place that you want to go. Hosanna, yes, Palm Sunday, one of my favorite church services. So let's talk about that, okay? This is good stuff because there's an opportunity. I've got all kinds of ideas, and I want to plant some seeds for you. And whether or not you choose to water them is completely up to you. We all handle our stress and our stuff in different ways. And the other thing is, somehow or another, I'm going to be pulling together. I have a presentation that I want to do on your gut health. That is so critical. I did it last year, and it's on my other computer. I'm going to go pull it up and take a peek at it. And I want to invite you to take a look at that. One of the things that I'm just super convinced about, and I've been doing a lot of reading. I've had a lot of my friends in the wellness space, doctors, other nutritionists, and what have you, sending me some really interesting stuff about immune health. And I want to share that because I am more convinced than ever, that a lot of this has to do with the immunity that you have, because 70% of your gut health, 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So we've got to be really on top of that. We can't just, be feeding ourselves a bunch of sugar and just pretending that none of it exists, because it's not true. We have to be on top of that. So that's really important. The other thing is I want to tell you about, I've got Fiber Mender. This stuff is amazing. This is 10 grams of fiber, you guys. Boom. 10 grams of fiber. Fiber Mender, chocolate, and unflavored. All three of those. You can order all three. You can order one. You can order everything that we've got in the shop. I don't care. Here's the deal. When you put it in the cart and you into the little promo window, you put ships free, we'll ship it free to you all this week. Okay? I'm just letting you know that this is one of the ways that we improve our gut health. There's collagen in this stuff. Fiber is part of gut health, and all of these things work together. There's a divine synergy here, and it's one of my secret sauces, if you will, to keeping my gut healthy. And I'm going to tell you, it is one of the most important things you could be doing right now at this time. The other thing that I want to let you know is that we do Q&As every single Friday. So if you have a question, send it in to support@savingdinner.com. In the subject line, just put question for Leanne on Friday, and it'll get put onto a spreadsheet for me, and I'll answer it right here for you on Friday. And of course, at 4 o'clock every day, we're doing, not here, but down in the kitchen, we're doing cooking lessons. I think we're doing beef stroganoff tonight. I'm going to do mine on spinach. I have had way too much pasta. That just doesn't agree with me. I woke up this morning and I said, oh, this is just gross. And I've kind of held my weight a little bit. I've gained a couple of pounds, but kind of held my weight. But my belly just feels like, I feel like a stuffed turkey. So that's the time for that to go. Full Bloom is our virtual event. And what I'm going to say to you is this. If you are looking to lead your very best life, find your purpose, and live your legacy right now. Live your legacy right now, not after you're gone, right now. Then this event is for you. And it's going to be virtual, and it's going to be amazing. And it wouldn't be the same without you. I want you to go check it out. Go to savingdinner.com/bloom. That's where you're going to see all the information about it. And we've got a nice group of women there. I want to tell you something. Community couldn't be more important right now. We are isolated, but we're still connected, aren't we? We're isolated in our houses, in our four walls. Yesterday I went outside. I was so excited. I was on the deck getting some vitamin D and just relishing that little bit. And, but that's as far as I'm going to go. That's it. There's lots of little, we live on a mountain, but there's no pathways really to walk. And there's a lot of critters out there and snakes and stuff. And I'm kind of a little bit worried, but, we might venture out a little bit. But, this is what we need to do. We need to be isolated, but we also need to be connected. And this is one of our tools. Facebook, thank God for Facebook Live. Thank God for our small groups and the sprint as well. Yeah, and we have the sprint starting tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to be the loosest I've ever been with the sprint. Follow it as closely as you can. Obviously, I think that's the best call. But if you don't have everything there, just do the best that you can with what you got, right? savingdinner.com/sprint. It's free. And we need this. I don't know about you, but I need this. I need to get reset. Have you ever had it where your internet just stops working and you're trying all these things and you're doing all these things and you call in and they said, Sounds like you need to reboot. Just unplug it for a minute. Unplug all the things, hit the button, plug everything back in, wait a minute or two, plug everything back in, and then boom, up it goes again. And it's just working like mad. This is exactly where we are right now. I think a lot of us are in the place of needing to reboot the system. I need this. Amy said, I need this. Absolutely. A lot of us need this. And this is something that, we do it once a month. Tomorrow we start. And I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live in the Sprint group in the morning. I'm going to try to get there like by 9 a.m. Eastern every morning. And here's the reason why. I want you, and everything is going to be all about the Sprint, including these lives here. I'm going to cook Sprint recipes, everything. But here's the thing that I want you to know, that the mindset part and being on top of this, it's going to be harder than before, even though, we have nowhere to go. We don't have the outside temptations of going to restaurants and all of that, right? But still, the default system is there. I mean, I've been having, I've been drinking wine almost every night. I don't usually do that. I have been eating food that I don't normally eat because I've been devastated. Well, I don't want it to go to waste. I've got all this stuff in my pantry, might as well. But it's just not working for me. It doesn't make me feel good. And when you don't feel good, you don't perform as well as you could. I've been distracted. I've been all over the place. I've been reading things. I've been going into this rabbit hole of research and stuff, which is all very good and fine, but it keeps you, all over the place. So I'm trying to circle the wagons and come on back. And it's just back to basics. And that's what planning's about. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you. We also have these now and later menus, which you are going to love. You cook something for now and then you wrap it up for later, another thing for later, but you keep it raw so it's never tasting like Stouffer's yucky reheated stuff. And listen, you're cooking dinner anyway, so why not make another one? Go check it out at savydinner.com/now. That's what I have to tell you. And now I want to talk to you about planning. Planning. How many of you have had work with a planner or something like that? Just let me know if you do. If you work with a planner, send me a thumbs up. If you've worked with some kind of a planner, and I'm not asking you about mine, even though I think mine is like off the hook, great for getting yourself into solid routines and goal setting for 90 days. If you have, give me some thumbs. There we go. Here come the thumbs. Yes. You know what I've noticed? That when you use a planner, you give yourself a framework for understanding what your day needs to be about. We also sometimes get into the nitty gritty, and we're going to be doing this, I think, in Hot Milk Club or Take Back Your Life, one of them. We're going to be doing a whole thing on time blocking next week, because time blocking helps to pull in the ideas and pull in the things, and helps you to find the holes that are in your system. Your boat doesn't float if you've got a hole. It'll float for a while, but then, it'll fill with water. And that's one of the reasons why sometimes your planner isn't working. There's a hole in it. The time is going, your time isn't being accounted for. And so that's something that we have to look at it. There are plans for everything. There are plans for your time. There are plans for food. There are plans for working out. There are plans for your work, because always at the end of it, all of it, there's goals. There's goals for the weight loss. There's goals for the eating. There's goals for the working out and the fitness. There's goals for work. You're on this project to help make this thing happen, whatever it is. We all need to have a plan in place, I believe, especially right now. Especially right now. This is a security thing, I believe, for our security, as in making us feel secure, making us feel like we have anchors, making us feel like we're not just, set to float around in our houses with nothing to do. And it's so important for your children too, I might add. I'll tell you another story. I'm just so full of stories today. My children are 21 months apart. And when I brought Peter home from the hospital, when I came home from the hospital with this little bundle of little boy love. My daughter, I was just so worried that she would feel displaced by this baby, because she was still a baby. She wasn't even 2. And I didn't want her to feel bad. And so I let go of her schedule. And all of a sudden, what I had here, and I was attributing it all to this new baby being there, all of a sudden I had this child who was completely out of control, throwing herself on the ground and having temper tantrums. Everything was just insane. And you know what I at first I was like, what do I do? And I kept trying to reassure her. I was all reading the parenting books and everything. And it finally hit me. My mother said this to me. She said, Leanne, you have her completely off of her normal schedule. Her routine and her schedule is what makes her feel secure. And you just giving her all this latitude and not having her stay with her nap time, the regular everything, is what's throwing her off. And it was like all the lights, all the bells, all the whistles went off in my head. And I immediately put her back on her routine because she got up at a certain time. She woke herself up at a certain time. She's a happy baby, so this didn't make any sense to me. She wasn't a child that threw herself on the floor and had temper tantrums. She had a regular morning nap. She had a regular afternoon nap. She had bath time at like 6 o'clock at night. She'd eat dinner like at 5:30, 6 o'clock. She'd have her bath time and stories, and she was out by 7:30. It was our routine. It's what we did. And it gave her security. It gave her a sense of belonging, and it didn't rock her world. And when I threw that all out the window because I felt guilty about bringing home a new baby, she was just a mess. We are all like that. We become messes when we don't have our usual routine. We have certain things that we do. We have certain places that we go. And, you might be saying to yourself, yeah, exactly. I'd get up in the morning, go take a shower, maybe exercise or something first, go take a shower, grab my smoothie and go to work. And now I'm home commuting from work, trying to figure out this Zoom thing, trying to whatever. And I just feel all discombobulated. I've got children on my back. I've got this happening, that happening. And it's time to make sense out of all the things that are happening right now, right? It's true. But we don't have to fall apart. We don't have to say that it's not working. We don't have to, we don't have to just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You've heard that before. Here's what we need to do is we need to create the new plan. We need to create our new normal, and we need to make it work exactly for what's happening now. And who knows how long this is going to last, what kind of temporary thing this is going to be or whatever. But the point is, it's time to just, reset. We're talking about the sprint and the reboot, right? This is a reboot too. Having a plan will help you with that. So I'm calling planning the preferred lifestyle and nurture. Plan stands for P, preferred, L, lifestyle, A, and nurture. Because in that, we're creating a lifestyle when we plan. We're also creating the nurture that we need for ourselves and for our families. Don't you love that? I think that was pretty cool. I just came up with that. We prefer a lifestyle that supports the life that we want to lead, don't we? We prefer to be healthy. We prefer not to have a lot of body clutter. We prefer to be positive. We prefer to feel like we have a little bit of control over our lives. We prefer this. Our preference isn't for sickness and disease. Our preference is for health and vitality and a vibrant lifestyle. That's our preference. So planning will get us that preferred lifestyle, won't it? And if we build into that preferred lifestyle, the nurture is going to take care of absolutely everything. We cannot not nurture ourselves or nurture our families. We're all a little bit empty right now. Our little cups have been tapped a lot. And there's a lot of questions and a lot of concerns. We don't know exactly what's really going on. And we have to be okay with that because we don't have a choice. But we do know, and we can, this is why I keep saying that beautiful self that you have, that's got to be nurtured. That's got to be fed on a regular basis, because if we're to understand that God is in control, because he certainly is, he has not left the planet and said, you guys are on your own, see ya. If we understand that God is in control, then we need to nurture that relationship with him. We also need to nurture ourselves, and we need to nurture those relationships that we have with our children and with our spouses and with the people who are under our houses, under our roofs. This is just the way it is. And if we don't do that, then we're going to find ourselves in such a you think the disconnect's bad now? Just let it go and see what happens. We can emerge from this transformed, or we can emerge from this transformed in a very negative way. And this is not to beat you up and say, do it this way, or you're just, you're gone. I'm not going to say that, because we all have got to monitor what it is that we can handle at this time. And we all have different, energy sources, or I don't know what the word is exactly, but we all have a certain amount of capability, right? Some of us more so than others. Some of us are carrying bigger burdens than others. Some of us have more time than others, etc., etc. It really doesn't matter. What matters is your capacity, what you're willing to take on or not, what you want in your life, and what you want at the end of this particular pandemic. So let's talk about why your plan right now is so critical. When you have a plan, you have got it is bandwidth, exactly, Mary. When you have a plan, you have a framework for how you want your life to run. You do. And you have goals in mind, and you have all kinds of stuff that's going to sustain you and help you to follow through on this. So at the end of it, whatever time period this is, you will emerge with those things done. It gives you confidence. It gives you motivation. Motivation, people sit around so much, you've heard me say this before, and just wait for motivation to come as if it's just going to descend from the sky like rain. And motivation comes from doing first, taking that first step first. Nobody feels motivated to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and exercise, but there are people who do this on a regular basis. Their motivation comes later. It just comes from just saying, by gosh, I'm just going to get that done. I'm just going to do it. So a plan gives you a visual framework for your life and for your family's life as well, because we're creating that whole thing. And the second thing is it helps you to not just fritter away your time. Time is so precious. When I got that phone call yesterday from Sandy, and I was a little bit worried because I knew that Fillmore had been sick. I didn't know that she had been sick too. When I got that phone call, I thought, oh my gosh, I hope everybody's okay. I hope she's not calling me to tell me that somebody's in the hospital or something. And I was also worried about her, precious 93-year-old mother-in-law, Sita, that I just adore. And it was right then that's like the time and the connection had just all kind of, went in front of my eyes as just something that I was thinking about. So we get to waste less time, and get right down to the heart of the matter of the stuff that's really important to us. It also gives us a confidence knowing that we're accomplishing something, How about that? How about accomplishing something while we're here, while we're in this, we have this, looking at it maybe as an opportunity. How about that? It's an opportunity. It's kind of a weird one, but it is an opportunity. And it also gives you that feeling of control. Am I right? I feel more in control when I have got something to do and I'm checking off I love my lists. I'm constantly, list, a list here and a list there. It helps me. Grocery lists help you when you're at the store, right? Everything helps you. Lists give you, oh yeah, I almost forgot that. But you didn't forget it because it's on your list. Those lists lift you up. Those lists keep you organized and motivated and it help. And it gives you a feedback. You know, your plan helps you. It gives you feedback because we don't lose 10 pounds just like this. We lose it by the ounce. We don't become like strong fitness buffs overnight. We become a little bit stronger each and every day. And it's an incremental thing. But doing it, this little incremental thing every single day, all the time, and in a constant way gives us that little bit of a boost because we can feel the effect of doing something because we get that little bit of feedback loop. And it also gives you, it gets out of your head. If you can get it out of your head and onto paper, you're winning 100% because it feels so good to be able to have a little bit more room in your head to, reassess things and to have a little more room for abstract thinking and some time to really, spend some time in gratitude, spend some other time with, instead of the to-do list just going in your head. If it's on paper, then that helps you out. If it's on paper, that list is also going to be a reflection of what's going on with your plan. And your plan, we have one that's $15 for as many times as you want to make it for 90 days and take back your life. And I tell everybody exactly, give the training on how to do this at savingdinner.com/journal. You can go check it out. I want you to check it out. These are tools. It's a framework and it helps you to really correct some stuff that's just out of control. And then we also have a time blocking sheet that's free on Saving Dinner, savingdinner.com/time. And you can print that out in case you're saying, well, I just don't have time. Well, here's a sheet that's going to help you to figure out where your time's going. And this is not so that you're saying, well, at 10:04, I was, having coffee and talking to my husband. And at 10:09, I was playing crossword puzzles. You don't do it like that. You don't get so detailed, but you do have an idea and a sense of where that time is going. Because if we can't account for our time, we can't change anything. You know that. And then you can decide, when you got this all thing, you can decide where you want to spend it. I want to spend my time more here. I want to build this relationship. I have a disconnect with my child or with my spouse or whatever. And I want to build that back up because you can see it. It gives you that it's a blueprint, really. It gives you that 30-foot view of what the heck is really going on. And a plan is just security for everyone. Nobody feels like they don't belong. That's why the dinner table is so important. The dinner table has a seat for everyone because everyone is important. And they're all situated around this whole seat as this circle of people who belong together. That's a connection right there. And we get to do that now with this, making this plan and seeing where the holes are. So we can keep this ship going, this ship afloat. And it gives you an opportunity to enjoy yourself as well and enjoy your relationships and enjoy the time that you have and create and carve out time to crochet or to learn a new language or to do something. If you want to, you can create that time. With a plan, you can. And it gives you an opportunity that if there's something out there that's trying to look to come your way, you know what's going to happen? And I promise you, this is hand to God, I've seen it so many times. An opportunity is just going to fall into your lap and you're just going to say, where'd that come from? Where did that come from? And I'm going to tell you right now, that's a gift. That's your particular activating system looking. And because you're positive and because you're doing things that are pro you, that are for you and for your family, those things just show up. They show up. And how fun is that? And then you have an opportunity to go back to the place because you remember the struggle ends when the gratitude begins. A moment of gratitude right there. A moment of gratitude. And the last thing is, it gives you such peace, doesn't it? More than anything, if I could take a box and put peace in it and mail it to every single one of you right now, oh my goodness, I would do it right now in a hurry. I can't though. Peace isn't a tangible item that gets boxed up like fiber mender, you know? But I can tell you this, if you have a plan and if you are implementing that plan and you're doing things for your family that are pro your family, pro you, then you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to feel a little bit more comfort. You're going to feel more secure and the peace will come. This is what gives you peace. Because if we're just sitting around Netflix, eating a bunch of carbs and sugar, going down the rabbit hole into Netflix for hours and hours on end, drinking too much wine and just, then oversleeping and then not having any kind of a plan, not taking a shower for days, you know what happens there? Everything falls apart. You've fallen apart and the family is going to go right along with you. And I'm going to say, and even if you're living alone, do this for your own sanity. Do this because you are in love with your life, because it's a gift. It is a gift. And reassess. Take a step back and take a look and just make sure that you understand that what you have right here, right now, today, you don't have answers to a lot of things that none of us have answers to. And that needs to be okay. Because that stuff right now, that's later. What you can control, what you do have a hand in, what you can put your hands and arms around are the people in your life that are under your house, in your roof, under your roof, and also your time. Because that time has to have some kind of redemption. It has to have some kind of good purpose to it, doesn't it? And again, I can't tell you how to do this. We all have different capacities for this. But I do know this, that if you're wrapped up with anxiety and if you're falling down the rabbit hole and you're just feeling like crap and it's just, you're just teetering on the edge of depression and all this other kind of stuff, an about face is time. It's time for an about face. And it's time to take a look at all this stuff. It's all free. It's all stuff that you can do. It's all stuff that will make a difference for you. I promise. I promise. And I don't want to see you fall off that cliff. And start with gratitude, because that's where the struggle ends. Gratitude. If you've got a roof over your head, if you have food in the refrigerator and have some connection to the people out there, there's a lot of love out there, you guys. There is a lot of love. And we just have to keep our pinkies up. We have to just keep believing. And we have to know without a shadow of a doubt that God is still in control. And he hasn't just thrown us to the wolves. And somehow, someday, some way, this will all make some sense. I don't know how, but I believe it with all my heart. So, let's have a preferred lifestyle and nurture, shall we? A plan. A plan. Because plans make all the difference in the world. Plans give us the security that we need. Plans will develop for you the life that you want to lead. They do. Because that's, at the end of the day, that's what we all want. Bless you all, and thank you so much for joining me today. You guys mean everything to me, and I'm so glad you're here. I hope you join me at 4 p.m. Eastern today, down in the kitchen, same place. Oh, same here, Facebook, right? And I'm going to be making some beef stroganoff. We've got all these mushrooms that need to get made. I'm eating mine on spinach tonight, though. I am done. Mark will be eating them on pasta, I promise you, but not me. Anyway, I love the fact that you guys all show up and that you play full out. That's what I love, and I'm really grateful for you all. Thanks so much for being here. I will see you, and share this if you would. Share this, because when you share, you care, and I appreciate that. Pinkies up, ladies. Peace out. I will see you at 4. Bye.